Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2Mnet podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And, well, Marc, this has been quite a day. I thought we were going to have one lead for the major news of the show, and then all of a sudden, literally 20 minutes before we were really getting started, it got switched. So that goes to show that even in the wee hours, you never know sometimes what's going to happen. It also helps that a lot of gaming is on the Pacific time zone. So technically for that time zone, it is not that late.
Yeah.
Over there. So, it could be worse. It could be over here where it's like 1 a.m.
Yep.
and you're saying that things are happening. So, Marc, anything going on with you?
Playing a few games. How about you?
I played a demo, and then that's probably the extent of me playing stuff. I actually did a lot more work getting all the columns out and all that, so now everything that we had in there for this year is completely done and we can start focusing on 2021. And speaking of, you have the first review already of 2021.
Oh, you mean Skull? Or
Yeah, Skull.
Okay, yeah.
So
I downloaded that this morning, but I haven't fired it up yet.
you haven't found it. Well, I didn't mean that you had to start playing or anything, but yeah, so
I'll get to it. I mean, it looks like a roguelike Metroidvania or like a roguelike game, so I think it should be fun.
yeah, I watched the trailer. I was like, okay, yeah, this is Marc's thing.
I guess the hook is like you put on different skulls and you become like different character classes.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, exactly. That's what it looked like to me too. That he put on different skulls, and it seems like it's trying to be funny, and so
The unofficial sequel to Deadhead Fred.
hey, that game, needed one. Why not?
Yeah, you and I played the Resident Evil demo.
Yeah, the Resident Evil demo. So
How long did it take you to play it or to finish it?
like 20 minutes, because I got lost a little bit.
Yeah, me too. Like, they don't show items at all correctly, or like, they don't really highlight them at all.
Oh, I agree. Like I did a whole run through that first section.
The jail cell, the prison, or little dungeon.
And I didn't see the area where you could go through and find I happened to turn around and I was like, that wasn't there before, I swear. And I found the one with the bolt cutters.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I looked over every area. I looked over every area and it's like, okay, I know I need some type of cutter or something to like open up these locks, but
right.
Yeah, it's like they don't, unless you get like super on top of an item, then it highlights. And I'm like, that's not great. Like, I did the same thing once I got to that one door into like that small dining room. I'm like, okay, I know there should be something here aside from like this bowl of disgusting wine.
Oh, where you had to crouch down.
Yeah.
And realize that little compartment opened. That was the one that got me for like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, they would not put us in here if there's nothing in here.
I thought it was like a fireplace because it was red or orange, and I'm like, well, okay, like, yeah. What'd you think?
Well, I mean, I like the atmosphere, for sure. I guess one of the sisters coming out right towards the end. It's not really a spoiler because you watched the announcement.
Yeah.
They showed them off, so. The sister coming right towards the end and basically like mauling you. I was like, oh shit. Okay. And then, I like how they kind of make it look like it's gonna be like a chase sequence to a very short end there. I guess that's your your nemesis or your Mr. X is going to be the vampire lady.
I am not 100% sold on this vampire thing yet. It seems really dumb, or it seems like a really weird departure.
Well,
from
there's also werewolf stuff, right? Because of the other trailer they showed.
It's like, is this going to be just be the Order 1887? Like, remember
I feel
zombies?
like there's still going to be like bioweapon stuff in there. It's just going to be a ruse somehow.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I haven't played every Resident Evil game. I've played like a good chunk of them.
Yeah.
I don't remember teleporting enemies.
No, I don't either. That was interesting too, how they just had the items that you get just come out of things randomly too.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. This just came out of bloody water. Awesome. Whatever that was.
Well, it's like, I can kind of buy that, like the guy like reaching his hand in, like, but it's more like, yeah, when you open the door to that courtyard, she like teleports in front of you, like she materializes, and then grows like a big, claw hand, and I'm like, what? Like,
well, she did say she was watching you, so
yeah. Did you see the other one? The gray lady, or like the one with like the gray cloak?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about that like kind of scared me a little bit with the where she like mauls you and then has blood on her face. Or...
I didn't mess with her. I mean, I kind of knew that was an enemy, and I'm like, well, I don't have any guns, so I'm gonna wait until she passes, and then I'm gonna open up this stupid lock, eyeball thing door and go through there.
Yeah. I did like that. Trying to figure that out where you had to examine it and then it turns into the eye to be able to open the door.
That's very Resident Evil. Yeah, they've done that before.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the environment though. I like that they sort of set it in. It looks like it's a winery. Or at least that part is. I'm guessing it's a.
Well, it's like Dracula's castle or something.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if you're gonna be in that castle most of the time, or is there gonna be a lot of...
I doubt it, because they call it the village, so I assume you're wandering around a pretty open environment. And, it'll probably be cloudy, so, the sun can't, help you out or anything.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, especially if you have, families of vampire and werewolf people, there's probably not gonna be a lot of sun going around.
Yeah.
No, I definitely like it. I don't really see the whole fuss of people making a big deal about, this is exclusive to PS5. It's a walking sim, folks. It's literally 15 to 20 minutes of you walk, you find stuff, you get spooked a little bit, it has cool atmosphere.
Also, that's what a good chunk of Resident Evil 7 was. I mean, at least the first part.
I mean, but you do shoot things, you do shoot the enemies and all that stuff, so... I mean, I think that works better with the first person, though, as well. You kind of feel that, atmosphere a bit more when you're having to see things, right in your face instead of having the third person view.
Sure.
So, we'll see. What did you think of the announcement?
That's kind of soon.
The showcase thing.
Should be alright. The, multiplayer thing seems dumb, like every multiplayer thing they've ever tried to do.
I get it as part of the anniversary thing. Of course, Marc's talking about the Resident Evil Reverse, thing when they showed off, brought back everybody from the other remakes, Claire and...
Hey, we got these models laying around.
Yeah, why not? And they made them smaller so they could fit through the buildings, which is, something. I'm probably not gonna play it at all, but yeah, I guess if you really want Resident Evil multiplayer, it's there.
I mean, who does though? That's the thing, is they keep trying to add these modes in and no one really cares.
They're hoping to strike lightning? I don't know. It's are the developers just playing around and they make this thing and somebody at Capcom just goes, why don't you just put it in there? I just don't get how, Monster Hunter is made for multiplayer. That is huge because that's what that game is.
Resident Evil, that's not a small, that can't be a small thing to make, or a small investment. It has to cost some money.
Yeah, they even split off teams now because they're doing Resident Evil 8 and then Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
So, it's... And, even some of the Resident Evil people help on Monster Hunter and and other games too. So it's like this is a lot of investment for you to do. And then, do you really have like a sectioned off team doing this thing, or is this just something that you happen to create and then you stuck it in there? It's like weird.
Well, I mean, those like the first two Resident Evil 2 multiplayer games, I forget what they're called, but like those were like reasonably popular, but also like that was damn near 15 years ago. Things have changed. Like,
no, definitely.
That's why like SOCOM isn't popular anymore. I keep cranking out those because like the gaming has changed, or it's gotten beyond that.
Yeah, to be fair,
really,
like they put multiplayer and Ghost and that worked.
Yeah, I was thinking Resident Evil Outbreak 1 and 2. That was it. It's like,
Outbreak.
That was a while ago though.
I thought the showcase was decent. It wasn't. I don't think it was anything to be hyped about.
No.
Like they made a big deal. It felt like where you could have just announced the different packs or whatever with the statue of, was it Leon? And then said, "Oh, here's the trailer," and that's it. Like I don't I don't know why we had to have a whole 30-minute thing for that. The Division 2 thing was, you that likes the Division.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, but I'm sure there'll just be some pointless exercise like most other crossover stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Remember Final Fantasy 15 and Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least the Monster Hunter stuff, when they add like skins and costumes, it's kind of cool.
I guess Immortals Fenyx Rising is supposed to cross over with some like Stars TV show, Wrath of Zeus, or some Zeus game or something, or TV show.
Well, they did Adventure Time at the beginning, basically when the game kind of first came out, and then I guess they're doing this. So, I mean, it'd be cool if there was no way they could do it because of the two different art styles, but if Hades and
it's that Blood of Zeus TV show on Stars, or on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they announced that like yesterday, and that was that was an okay show, or from what I heard.
Have not watched it at all, so
it's like basically American anime. So.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you get to experience the RE demo, you should. It's a nice, breezy 15-20 minutes. You get some atmosphere there, and we'll see whenever they release the other
It has more gameplay than PT.
Yeah, true. And it's a nice, like, decent section of stuff that you're doing, so. What are you
doing?
What?
I think you're like rubbing up against the mic or something.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just there's this like cable, that's like right there by the mic. I had no idea it was making that much noise. Sorry.
Well, yes, what I was playing, or?
Yes. So you did start playing Immortals, or?
Yeah, I've been playing that. I don't know. I played it for like 15 hours or so. It's all right. The world feels pretty empty. That's kind of my only like biggest knock against it. But I like that they give you more direction as far as like plot or like quests and stuff than Breath of the Wild did. I really didn't like that about Breath of the Wild, and also I didn't like their durability system. So
yeah, I agree with you. You can keep the map very not full of stuff if you want to, right? Whether you go to those vantage points or not. After the first one.
Yeah. I go to them all just to make sure. I don't like the scouting thing that much about like just having to keep scanning the environment. I mean, it's nice that you can do it from any point in the game or any whenever, but like just doing it itself, I'm sitting there for 20 minutes painstakingly going over every stupid thing.
You don't have to do that though. Like you can still find it as you walk around.
No.
Yeah. I
do it because why not? I mean, I want to. If I'm gonna do this trip, I might as well find it quickly and not just stumble upon it.
Well, that's true.
I did the first god, Aphrodite, where I did to like haul her. I freed her, and now I'm doing Ares, which I think is kind of funny that he's a chicken. The game has some pretty decent humor, although I don't really like Zeus and like the Zeus narration that much. But the gameplay is fine for the most part. I don't really like flying that much, or it feels very finicky.
Oh, that's what I liked, though, was that you could fly around and...
I mean, you don't have, like... It's a neat idea, but you don't have great control in the air. Like, that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
So, like, I did there's certain puzzle dungeons or whatever that's like, you have to fly through these rings or fly through on these air currents, and it's like, alright, I'll try to do this. Maybe fall 4 or 5 times before I can finally do it. But yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, of the 3 Ubisoft games that came out last year, I mean, Valhalla's the best, this is by the middle best, and then Watch Dogs was the least good.
Who would have thought that? That Watch Dogs would be the least enjoyed out of all of them.
Once they said no actual character, or no, it's like, yep, this is not going to go well.
It's weird how, like, everybody saw that as, like, a revelation at first, and then how quickly everybody kind of cooled on that.
Yeah, because it's hard to write a story about no character, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, the story is going to be bland. It's like, yeah, because you don't have a character, you have no character with a personality, so they're literally a blank wall. It's like, oh, their CTS profile says they're, guitar playing lesbian who can hack into banks. It's like, okay, they don't display any of that, like, when they're talking or doing anything, so it doesn't matter. What else? Oh yeah, Jens and I played more Scott Pilgrim, after our disastrous time last time. The network, we had no problem with the network play. Like, me and him played 2 levels. But we ran into a weird issue where after the first level, the entire game was unlocked.
So it's not supposed to work that way.
No, I imagine there's supposed to be 7 levels, just for the 7 evil X. But we went from, like, level 1 to we beat the game, because we went from, like, level 1 to level 7.
Was there, like, a level select, or was it just,
the level select is, like, the map. It's, like, it has, like, the overworld kind of Zelda, or, like, Mario 3 map or something. So you pick stages on that, but it's, like, you're supposed to, like, replay levels, ideally to, like, get money or get experience, but it's, like, no, you can just move to level 7, and then we did it, and then it's called, like, Gideon's Secret Lair or something like that, and we played it, and we just beat it, and I'm like, okay, that's strange.
Yeah,
and there's also no trophy for beating it, which I thought was funny.
Maybe because it knows it was a mistake, or because it probably can keep track if you go in chronological order or not.
I don't think there's actually a trophy for beating it at all, really. It didn't look like it, like on the trophy list, so who knows? It was just really odd, but at least we didn't have any, like, desyncing or dropping out or anything like that. So. Yep, and I got a copy of Virtual Racing for the Genesis, which is nice.
Well, that's nice.
I met a friend over the week, and he gave me like some pretty recent, like, video game retro books, and one of them, I mean, they're all new. One of them is like $20, which is, I mean, I actually had that one also. It's like the SNES book, but the others are all new and they're worth like $80 a piece.
Damn.
And like the Genesis one is like $170 or something.
They have one that's coming out pretty soon, the guide to like JRPGs or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that one to completely come out. I might get it.
See the 20-page retrospective on Vagrant Story.
Yeah, why not? So it would be awesome to read about.
Yeah.
Intent Square.
It'd be interesting to see like what they deem important or what, I mean, I like Brave Fencer Musashi, but that's maybe like the biggest thing in that book or anything like that. But I take it you've not been playing anything else except for Resident Evil?
No. Like, just haven't been able to. Like, I just wanted to make sure we got all that stuff out, and now this week I can finally... Of course, it helps that, like, my first game that I'm really excited about, Cyber Shadow, comes out this week. Having any thoughts about Hitman 3 now with all the great reviews and...
Not in the slightest.
Not in the slightest, huh?
I mean, like I said, if a code just showed up, I mean, I might take it, but the problem is I don't like that. The game is good, but my review would be bad because I just feel like, well, hey, it looks great, the writing is fine, but I don't like playing the game.
Yeah, I've heard that apparently even if, like, there's a lot of people that didn't like 1 or 2 or didn't even play 1 or 2, and they really got into 3. So, like, interesting that apparently it's that damn good. So,
I mean, I have 1 and 2 on PC, and I've tried to play, like, I got into one, I guess, like a tad, but not really. I don't like the fact that you have to, like, keep replaying levels to get mastery, stars to, like, unlock more weapons. Like, that's what I don't like. It's like, oh, kill this guy by causing the chandelier to fall on him at this certain time. It's like, okay, to get to that point, you have to play level 6 times to get the tool you need to, like, loosen the chandelier to fall on him. It's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
if anything, I just want to get, like, a sniper rifle and just follow the guy around and then shoot him in the head and then walk away.
at least it does give you, at least it does give you, some, like, leeway of how you want to kill the kill the villain or whatever.
Yeah, know? I mean, you have a lot of creativity, but, at the end of the day, I want to do that once or twice. I don't want to, like, they're like, at least in Hitman 2, they're like, oh, this level has 20 mastery stars. You have to kill them, like, 15 different ways. It's like, that's not fun. Like, at least to me, it's not. It's like, it becomes like a very clockwork game then. It's like, oh, just wait till he gets to this point and then use the rubber ducky explosive to, like, blow him off the cliff or something like that. And it's like, no.
Can't wait till we have the Goose Game and Hitman and crossover.
I think they already tried that. Or they made a joke about that once, so.
But, yeah, so, I mean, if you didn't get what we're saying, if you were in ever the slightest thinking about liking those stealth games or liking games like that, it is apparently pretty great. So you should go check it out. And really makes you feel like they are perfect for the Bond 007 license with that.
I mean, I envision that game would be a lot less goofy, and also like kill, like, because Bond doesn't kill a ton of people in, like, just random areas necessarily. So
yeah, he tends to do the Batman thing of just, like, knock them out.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So
I guess it depends on Bond, but yeah.
I will be more interested in, like, what they do with that story and all that stuff.
How they bring back Denise Richards is Dr. Christmas Jones.
Let's hope not. That's the kind of villain we're going for. Thank you.
That one PS2 Bond game, Everything or Nothing, is pretty good, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I mean, when you have the greatness of GoldenEye, which, to be fair, it doesn't really necessarily hold up now.
I think it does.
I don't think the multiplayer does, though.
Well, how do you mean? Like, as a concept, or like how it ran?
Yeah, like how it runs, I guess. Like, it's just very, very, like, of that era, right?
Yeah.
If they were able to, like, modernize it, I guess maybe. We'll see. I really hope that they don't try to make IO shoehorn that in or something. It's like, let them make the Bond game that they want to make.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I mean, I can't even remember the last Bond game. I think it was like, well, they did a GoldenEye remake on the Wii. They ported that over, but I doubt they'll make, won't be the same thing.
Before we get off the Resident Evil train, Capcom also had revealed before that Resident Evil 4 Remake was in development, and we thought that it might, be one of those that's coming sooner than you think, and then all of a sudden, apparently, there are internal disagreements between what Capcom wants to do with Resident Evil 4 Remake. Basically, do you go the Resident Evil 2 route of trying to make it much more of a very faithful version of that game, or do you go the Resident Evil 3 route where you try to take some liberties? And, this is, of course, VG2, one of Video Games Chronicle, which is, one of the best at giving out news. And they really haven't been around too long, but they have just really become one of the best at doing that now. But really, it's just like now Capcom's like Division 1 studio is in charge now because of this. And it's even,
See,
yeah.
I mean, this is kind of a story, but I mean, this has been done before. Like, look at Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's very special what Final Fantasy VII Remake did. There's a lot of people that Final Fantasy VII Remake has a lot more praise and love for it than Resident Evil 3 Remake did.
They gave it to a developer, and then the parent company was like, wait, no. This happened with Grand Blue. I think the Grand Blue game that's been in development hell for years. But I mean, Platinum Game was working on that, and they got shit canned off that, which is kind of crazy, but okay.
Yeah, because that's kind of what made that whole single player thing. And then, is it going to be as good a game without Platinum in it?
Possibly not, but also Platinum doesn't have, like, Platinum has a lot of high highs, but they also have some low lows. Like,
that's true too. Not every game they make is.
I mean, that game did look really good, at least when Jens and I were talking about it years ago, but who knows? It's kind of bananas to me that, like, that game and, you know, there are a few other games that are like, oh, it's coming out in 2022 on the PS4 and Xbox One. It's like, why? Like, games already don't run that well on those systems that are, you know, current. Like, if you want to have this thing come out in 2 years, or at least a year and a half, it's a good luck.
Yeah, the thing is, we have to remember, like, they had so much time between, like, they have been able to revive Resident Evil with RE7, and so this kind of gave them the freedom to say, okay, well, what if we remake 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Let's try to bring back the older Resident Evils, and they did. They successfully did that with 2 at least. 3 again is kind of like, some people really love it, some people do not like the direction they went in. And then, like, the thought was, oh, Code Veronica will be next, but now it's 4, and 4 is such a beloved game. 4 is almost in that territory of Final Fantasy 7, where, like, man, you could really go wrong if you try to do too much changing.
I think Code Veronica made more sense because it was very much still in that 2 and 3 style. Like, it did some camera tricks here and there.
Also, like, Resident Evil 4 feels still like a very modern game, whereas Code Veronica is stuck in the time frame that it's in.
Right.
You know.
I mean, yeah, they put out Resident Evil 4 on the PS4, or, you know, the modern systems. Mm-hmm. So, and I think it'll be different. It'll be interesting to see how they change the gameplay. If it's still, like, the same, or if it's like Resident Evil, you know, the 2 remakes.
Yeah, because that was the thing that they were having the trouble with, was deciding, like, okay, are we going to completely make this a faithful thing or not? And
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like, man, you really, really have to put some thought into it if you're gonna try to do the Final Fantasy VII thing of, we're gonna do this our own way. I feel like what they did with RE2 was great because they added a lot of great quality of life things that made that the standout version. Like now, that's the version I think most people would want to play, whereas trying to go back to, you know, the old one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the old ones, even at the time, was pretty archaic.
Whereas, I mean, I think there's people that would say, oh man, they really did something with, like, screwed up 3, or, you know, so, wasn't there like a petition going around for them to try to do 3 in the same way they did 2 for a while because people got so mad?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of those things. Now they have time to think about what they want to do. What I would say is, take your time. You know, don't feel like you need to rush. So far they have been hitting them pretty well.
I'll give them credit though. Like, even if Resident Evil 4 is just going to be like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, like, they have pretty successfully split that franchise into, like, new game and, like, remake game.
Yeah, but after 4, you can do Code Veronica, but, like, after Code Veronica, what are you going to remake?
Remake 1 again.
Remake 1 again. I guess you could, right?
It'll be time enough, you know?
I mean, that was pretty, like, modern when it came on the GameCube, so,
Oh yeah, and even, like, when they ported it to, like, PS3 and 360 and, you know, the PC, like, they even fixed some of the issues in the GameCube one, so.
I just, we'll see what they decide to do, on that front. So, let's, we got through the Resident Evil stuff. Let's get through this, which Microsoft basically got through it themselves today. But if for some reason you're listening to this and you have no idea what happened, which I cannot imagine that you don't, I'll just recap it for you here. So early in the day, like, so I start working at like 2 Eastern, like around, I want to say noon, 1-ish, whatever, something around there. Microsoft reports start coming out, and there were even rumors before then, like the night before, from like comicbook.com and some other places, that Microsoft was going to increase Xbox Live Gold, which, to be fair, had not been increased in a long time. It had been, like 10 years? So, like, all of a sudden they come out with a report that, oh, Xbox Live Gold is now going to be double what it costs for a year. It's not just going to be the $60. It's going to be $60 again for you to have it for a year. So $120 basically.
Yeah.
If you're a new subscriber. Now, if you've already had it and that's all you have, then you're good. You still get to keep it at the same price that it's at. But that's getting increasingly less, because if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you're not subscribing to Live the way you used to, where you're subscribing to it year by year. That's what I used to do. Before Game Pass existed, I would renew Gold and PS Plus literally the same day. I just get them both at the same day, so I don't have to worry about it. Or within like the same week. Then Game Pass Ultimate came, and it just got rolled into with Live, so I cut the yearly subscription thing and went the month to month, because I can't afford $180 in one pop like that. And then you forget about it, and then all of a sudden $180 comes out of your account, and you're like, oh, what the hell? So, I mean, I know you don't care about these services, Mark, so.
I mean, if I had a current Xbox, I'd probably have Xbox Gold.
Yeah, so like, okay, you're gonna have Xbox Gold. They decided to raise up the 1 month price for $1. So it's $10.99. So basically, it's not a 1-to-1 anymore like it used to be.
Yeah.
So now it's like you're paying $66, $66 for 6 months instead of $60. So, there's a little bit of a increase there if you're going month to month, which again, if you're only getting Live, I don't understand why you're going month to month at that point, but, whatever.
Because you only play Call of Duty.
Right, but you might as well just pay for it for the whole year and be done with it. It just costs the same price as another game. And then I think the 3-month price went up, what was it, $5? To, instead of 25, it was 30. And that's not bad. But, and the thing was too, it's like, the biggest problem was, there's no messaging. It's a report, there's no explanation why, and then, oh, that's just it, this is the way it is. And then like, wait, we're in the middle of a pandemic still. Like, why are we raising prices on things? Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, what are you doing, Microsoft? Like,
I mean, because things always go up in price, so.
I know, but like, okay, so the biggest problem was that you're basically telling people, well, look how expensive Gold is. Hey, Game Pass Ultimate's over here for $15. Why don't you get Game Pass? So we can have more subscribers to Game Pass. So that, we can tout that we went from 20 million to 25 million in like 2 days or whatever. I don't know how long it would have taken people to switch over like that. But that's really what the deal was. It really was a way to bully, strong arm, whatever turn of phrase you want to use, into getting people to go, well, I guess I'll get Game Pass now. Even if they didn't have a reason to use it.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it was like, now became like your Netflix or your other subscription, those kind of subscriptions where you might have them just because you might want to happen to watch a show one day, but you really never use it. Like, I guess that's what Microsoft wanted Ultimate to become eventually. Which, I mean, they still do, but I don't know, there's better ways to message that, right? They could have just increased it little by little. They could have given an explanation as to what are you getting in return if you're going to be doubling the price. Like, nothing. It's weird to just all of a sudden double it completely. We're not talking about, Microsoft is almost valued at $1 trillion. Do they really need to do that? Like, I
Well,
don't
it's the
know,
same
Mark.
thing. If my cat's insurance went up. I usually paying like 25 or 22 a month for the past like 8 years or 7 years since I had my cat. That now went up like $10, and it's like, what? Like,
I mean, insurance, I just don't even know how to explain that anymore. It's like my car insurance goes up all the time. Or not all the time, but it's like, it feels like they somehow find a way to increase it $5 or $10. And it's like, what the hell, guys? Well,
Yeah.
that's just the price of, this went up and all that. And I was like, really? Come on. Or like the cable, where you have to
Right.
keep finding new deals because the broadcast fees are now at $20.
Yep.
It's like, God, ridiculous. But,
well,
you know,
ultimately,
yeah.
They did away with this, so.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to set the scene for this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, an hour before we started recording, Aaron Greenberg just popped up a tweet saying, hey, we listened, we heard you, no changes, it's back to the way it was. Oh, and the paywall for the free-to-play games is going to be gone. And they're apparently working on that pretty quickly here. So
Yeah.
Which now puts them in line with Nintendo and Sony that did not have the paywall where you could play Fortnite for free.
Or like Warframe or something.
Yeah, or Warframe, yeah. Which never made sense in the first place. Like, it was the same thing where Microsoft would charge you had to be part of Live to be able to watch Netflix.
Yep.
It's like, what? I can watch Netflix on my phone, or well, not back then, on my computer.
Or PS3.
Or my PS3 without having to be part of PS Plus, but I have to pay for gold to watch it on my Xbox. Like, it's like, what? That doesn't make sense,
Frankly,
yeah.
paying for multiplayer doesn't make sense. They just want to do it to get money.
It made sense at first, right? When you didn't know if it was going to be a thing.
Because, like, PC games, I had online multiplayer for the past damn decade. Like, none of
Right,
those
but
games.
like, okay, I understood the paywall at first because you're trying to justify the price for all these servers, all these things that you're now constructing, all of this other, and now needing to create these big multiplayer games and everything. But like, once it really started taking off, and multiplayer became its own part of gaming where like, there are so many games that continue to be a thing. Even Halo 3 and Reach got updates yesterday for another season of multiplayer. These are games that are old. Like, so what is the point of gating,
just like I said,
free money, basically? Free money? It's and that's what hit everybody hard too, was that, I don't think if we ever actually talked about it here, but there were rumors going around that Microsoft, in continuing to be more consumer friendly, which this move was not. This was totally anti what everything Microsoft had been doing. We're just gonna completely do away with gold. There's not gonna be a paywall anymore. It's just gonna be, if you want to subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate, cool. If you want to subscribe to Game Pass, just the console version, cool. But there's no more Xbox Live Gold. And then all of a sudden this happens and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. What happened to all this other messaging that you've been doing? This seems like you went back to the old Microsoft. Like Don Magic took over Microsoft for a day. Like, what happened? So I think that's what I think was the bigger deal, was that, wow, this goes against everything that Microsoft has been doing for the past 2 years or whatever. And then all of a sudden they change it in one day, which this is when all the conspiracy theories are going to start, right? Did they do this on purpose? Did they do it to test the waters? Did they,
I think they legitimately thought that, like, no one would care.
Yeah, or they thought that they would have a lot more defenders, right? Like, a lot of times you have a company does something, like even Cyberpunk, there were so many people defending CD Projekt Red. Still.
Yeah.
And you guys, to be fair, you guys are playing the game and all that, you're liking it. But like, And that's what was funny too, is like, you're watching what CD Projekt Red is going through, right? Like, do you really want to make a move like this? They actually had the cards printed and everything. There's pictures that those cards exist, right? So like, I don't know. It seems like this was gonna happen. But Microsoft could have just decided, oh, okay, Phil Spencer, everybody needs to go out there, push this message, get everybody behind it, rah, 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 there's still Game Pass. But they didn't. They were all quiet the entire day. And then all of a sudden, Aaron Greenberg, they come to a decision. I'm guessing Phil Spencer and everybody else talked. And it's like, you know, how much praise should you give them for deciding to change? What do you think? I mean,
no,
do you give them praise for changing it?
I mean, they can charge whatever they want, really. But, like, I'm a subscriber to PS Plus, but only because I get occasional codes for, like, cheaper than, you know, the 60 that it's yearly for. The fact they don't have a yearly code for Xbox is kind of fucked at this point, though. I think, no, they took it away. They used to. But didn't they stop it, like, last year or something? Or maybe, like, 2 years ago? So they're clearly trying to build about as much money as they can.
Yeah. I'm sorry, like, I'm trying to think of what, I blanked. Like, what were you saying?
Well, no, Xbox used to have a 12-year plan. Or, a 12-month plan. Like,
Yeah, they took that off. They took that away last year.
So,
they quietly, like, did away with those cards.
Yeah.
And they were trying to push people to 6-month plans at the most. Right? So this led to people just waiting until, which you can still do, right? You can wait until they do this all the time with Game Pass, where you can get Game Pass for really cheap if you wait for certain sales, and you can keep buying the cards and jumping Game Pass on top of each other, and you have the same price. I think Yen says he has it for like the same price for 4 years now.
Yeah.
So, and this is somebody that's on the podcast, like, every so often, so, like, this is somebody we know. I'm sure you know somebody that may do that, you know, so it's
or they bought cards 2 years ago or something that they just have like a stack of them at their house.
Exactly. Or there's a lot of times those cards go on a sale for like $15 less than what they say.
Yeah.
And then that's when you jump on them. You know, Sony does that every now and then where they do like, PS Plus for like 40.
Yeah, or even like 30 occasionally. Yeah. So, I mean, it's dumb. I mean, obviously they reversed it because if you were having to pay basically $120 a month or $120 a year for online play, then Sony would increase their lead by quite a bit more.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Is like this. I know. I just don't like. I can't think that no one in that building thought, oh, everybody's just gonna not care. Like, there had to be someone in that marketing team that was like, you know, people are going to get pissed, right? Like,
well, everyone in that building makes several $100,000 a year, so I think they actually thought, man, everyone else is rich like us, so why not?
But that's like this is one of the few times, and I think this is what helped a lot, and this is something to think about for, you know, the future when these things happen, how united everybody was on Twitter about how this is a bad thing. Like, this is bad. Like, do not do this. It's awful. And so, what happened? It got switched. Like, you know, you're on the train that they can charge whatever they want. I do not think they can charge whatever they want because there is a lot of people that only use this service. And then that's my problem and this is what should really come out of this, and I think this is what people really need to bang the drum for more. There are a lot of families. I am very lucky that Anaya does not give two craps about console gaming right now, because if I wanted to play at the same time as Anaya, I cannot without having to pay for either Game Pass again or Xbox Live separate. So, because only Nintendo apparently thought about, there might be more people that want to play at the same time, so let's come up with a family plan for our online. I do not know how we have existed this long, and Sony and Microsoft still do not have family plans for PS Plus and Xbox Live or Xbox Game Pass and whatever. It's like, do you guys not think about how many gamer parents are now growing up and having gamer kids? Like, what, like, oh, the $10 or $20 you would lose is that much for you, big corporations? Like, you guys can't think about that? Like, that bothers me.
And to be fair, most
yeah.
households don't have two PS5s, two Xbox Series
No, yeah,
X's.
well, but they do have a Series S and a Series X, or a Xbox One X, or an Xbox One, or like a PS4 and a PS5 right now. It's like, they're all running PS Plus to play with their friends. They gotta play it, right? I mean, yeah, you can play Fortnite on your tablet or your phone, or you can grab, if you have a good computer, which some people don't, like somebody just uses their computer to do the simplest shit ever, and that's it, right? Like, so, I just think that this is happening more and more, and there are people that have kids that they're all of that age, and they're paying $45 a month for Game Pass because they have two kids and themselves that are playing. So, like, I don't know, I just think that this needs to be a thought going forward of, maybe we need to, if we're gonna eventually do away with these services, but you're still gonna be charging for another kind of service, you need to come up with some kind of family plan so that people that live in the same freaking household can play at the same time, or...
They used to have one, but they did away with it.
Yeah, Microsoft had one, back in the original Xbox days.
Well, 360.
And people hate, the N360, but people hated, people, like, busted Microsoft for it. And I think also they were trying to do that with when they were going to do the Always Online with Xbox One, and that got scrapped too. I mean, they have a little bit of that with the, your home Xbox and your not home Xbox, and Sony has that thing too, where you can, designate your home PS Plus, your PS4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
And that's like for another person, where that person has to be online to be able to play any of the games or whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like that needs to be a thing. At some point, we need to do that. It's just weird to me. It's weird to me that Nintendo's the only one that has that, and Sony and Microsoft still have not figured that out. Well, also, maybe you have a lot more adult gamers that, since so much of the gaming populace apparently...
Also, look at like Nintendo's online offerings versus Sony and Xbox. Like, for all 4 Nintendo games you can get online versus the hundreds on either other platform.
Well, true, but I mean also what you get for having the Switch Online, which is the reason why I don't subscribe, because there are some good Super Nintendo and some good Nintendo games on there, but it's like, I mean,
it's not even a matter of that. Let's look at, Animal Crossing, that was a nightmare to get online with.
Yeah, a lot of their games have online problems.
So yeah. If they want to, if they want to use internet structure from 1997 Earthlink, then no wonder it's only $20 and you get a family.
That's what it feels like sometimes, right?
Yeah. So,
Or what was that one that started with a Z that I can't remember right now? That was also popular back then. God,
I don't even know.
We had that. I don't remember what it was, but it was like the first one along with Earthlink that came out, and it was like the alternative to AOL. So
yeah, those were always funny, weren't they?
Yeah, and they were just as bad. So whatever. Getting off that, please just don't do that again.
Was this called Zoomtown?
No, it was, oh my god, it was some, like, they were trying to be edgy, and it was black and red, and...
Zamnet? I mean, yeah, there's like a few of them out there, but...
May have been that. I think it was called something else, but it was like, either way, I was in Texas at the time, so I don't know how far-reaching that was. And of course you had Juno, and Dave Meltzer still has a Juno email. That old man. So, but anyway, yeah, Microsoft, just don't do that again. We don't need the whole everybody up in arms about your freaking internet service.
Yeah.
Peter Moore is back. Speaking of Xbox.
But unfortunately, he's not at Xbox anymore.
No, he's not. He left being the CEO of Liverpool Football Club. Liverpool. Of course, he picked a good time to leave when they won the Premier League for the first time in God, how many years. And
he accomplished his goal.
Yeah, right? Go out on top. Because you never know if you're going to win the next year or not. so now he's at Unity. He's going to see the sports and live entertainment at Unity. Of course, John Riccatello has history with Peter Moore.
Yeah, it's kind of the funny part.
Yeah, being his old boss at EA. So it's like, they know each other. He knows that Peter Moore was big time with EA Sports back in the day too, so this seems to work, I guess.
You wonder how long it'll be until they hire Patrick Soderlund there as well.
Yeah. I mean, but, like, you know, we'll see if this becomes a big deal or not. I mean, Unity they still power a lot of games. So,
oh yeah, Unity is pretty big actually. I mean,
so it'll be interesting if, Peter Moore and John Riccatello and the gang can...
I don't know how many sports games they make, but they make a lot of other games.
Yeah, I mean, they are vital in so many games still that will they be able to, how much more can they innovate? That's going to be the interesting thing. And Peter Moore's pretty good about that, so we'll see. Maybe, we talked about Microsoft, at least they reversed their decision. Talk about decisions here. Vicarious Visions has now been merged with Blizzard to sort of become like a support studio for Blizzard.
Yeah, this is my depressing news today.
Yeah, either Activision feels like they don't have anything else to remaster, or I don't know or something's going on at Blizzard that people don't want to talk about.
Well, Blizzard is not like a great company to work for necessarily. Like, their profits are down. They don't make a ton of games. They don't pay that well. So it's like, who would want to work there? Like,
yeah, that's the thing. It's like this is something I would like to see like further investigation on. Is what is this actually more about? Like, you're gonna send all 200 team members of Vicarious Visions, who were part of the team that had tried to improve Destiny before Bungie just said, you know what, let's get out of here. And save our baby before Activision, puts it into the ground.
yeah.
To their credit, Vicarious Visions they did a wonderful job on the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it. They had a hand in helping with, the Crash.
Well, they did Crash completely.
Yeah, they did Crash completely, so, they have an opportunity to have another Blue Point Studios. Right, like Sony has, or well, Bluepoint's technically, I guess, not as. No, they haven't bought Bluepoint. They're not a Sony studio, but they do a lot of work with Sony.
Yeah.
So it's weird that I get it. Maybe Activision feels like they don't have a ton of games in their back catalog that they can just go back and remaster or have a little spot for Vicarious Visions. But
here's a novel idea though for Activision: make new games.
That's true too. They've shown you what they can do. Why not let them, make their own thing?
Why not make a new Crash Bandicoot game, or a new Spyro game, or...
Well, they did make a new Crash game.
Yeah. That's literally the point. Or a new, make new levels for Tony Hawk. Or, bring in 3 and 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
Sony is, not Sony, Activision has done this before with, Neversoft. They essentially became a Guitar Hero, support studio, and then they folded eventually. Or Raven is still around, technically, I think, but they're the Call of Duty support studio.
Yeah.
But it's that's, they brought back Crash and Tony Hawk, and this is what they get for their troubles, is, go be Blizzard bitches, and work on the Diablo 2 remake that you gotta do it because Blizzard has shown they can't remake their old games anymore, like a Warcraft 3.
Yep.
That was one of the worst games of last year. Not only did they screw that up, they screwed up the original Warcraft 3. And it's a 2-for-1 deal, guys. Come on.
They did the StarCraft one, right? The remake of...
Yeah, but that wasn't a whole remake. Or that was just HD. Cause
right.
When they announced Warcraft 3, they were we're gonna do different stuff. It's gonna have a new campaign, new cutscenes, all this other stuff. And then they were lying.
Yep, and it turned out to be one of the worst games of last year.
Yeah, and like I said, they screwed up the original one, and that's the unforgivable part, really. It's hey, if you're gonna mess up Warcraft 3 remastered, go ahead.
Don't mess up the original one.
Yeah, if you're gonna screw up the old one, it's like, wait, what? Like, but
Yep.
I think it's like the Curious Vision isn't like the best developer, but they've been around for quite a while. They had a name, or they had a decent track record. Like,
yeah, man.
And like Blizzard, what they're gonna be forced to work on, Overwatch 2, and then Hearthstone. Well, that's still around. That's not exactly a thriving game anymore either.
Yeah, and then also like being stuck on the YouTube deal is not helping them either.
Yeah.
Like, that is really hurting them. I've seen people talking about how they have really lost an audience being stuck on YouTube,
Yeah, not surprising.
But it's just like, this is, I don't know,
Also,
in a time where Activision really needs to, I get it. Call of Duty keeps selling, right? So, there's nothing there saying, well, we're even losing Call of Duty, we really need to, like, get those creative juices flowing. They're doing so well with all these, like, bringing back old games or bringing back the same games every time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. That's just weird that, like, you wouldn't have at least one studio where it's just like, hey, just make something. See what you can come up with.
All Activision focuses now really on is, like, Call of Duty as, like, Activision. Blizzard, they don't make a ton of games. They at least have a few in their stable they, make occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, they make Overwatch. I wonder if they would even be making an Overwatch 2 if they weren't part of Activision, which that's gotta be an Activision thing at this point. Like, okay, Diablo 4 feels like it's been long enough. Fine, but, yeah, it's just, now even Blizzard is having to just constantly iterate on these old franchises.
Yeah.
So, because look who's in charge.
Bring back, make a Pitfall HD remaster. Just have it look like Uncharted.
Right? Why not? We're bringing Indiana Jones to the gaming realm. Let's do it.
Make another Star Trek game. But, yeah, it's, like I said, it's kind of a bummer. And, like, there's going to be some redundancies. There kind of has to be.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say. Like, we're not going to keep all 200 people.
Yeah, are you gonna start, like, eliminating some of the Blizzard people? Are you gonna eliminate some of the Vicarious Business people? It's like...
Yeah. Like, Vicarious Vision, like, they're pretty much like a license company, it looks like. Like, they were doing, like, Power Rangers Time Force and TBA, or, Shrek 2 and shit like that. But, still, like, you need someone to do that. And over the past few years, they've been branching out into, like, Spyro, or Skylanders, and Guitar Hero, and, like I said, Crash and Tony Hawk.
Yeah. That's the thing, is, like we were talking about, there was a chance there for Activision to kind of let Vicarious Visions do its own thing, and be another one of those studios where, well, they're working on something, what are they gonna work on, what are they doing? And, like, have that kind of mystery around them, and then instead it's just, oh, well, they're gonna help out Blizzard. And what does that say? Does it say anything about Blizzard? Does it say that there's some, like, turmoil going on with the development of some of the games? Like, I don't know.
Probably.
Well, maybe just turmoil for, as in, like, it's not going fast enough for Activision, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they want Blizzard to crank out a game every year. And that is impossible for Blizzard to do. I'm not talking like a good or bad thing. I mean, that's just not how that studio operates.
Yeah, so, definitely. It's not.
It's funny to me that, like, that they can't split off from Activision. I think they own them, so that might be why. But, like, if it just a majority of the people quit, en masse, and, made, Snowflake the game company, or, something like that, and...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But, and they made, like, Hell, a action-adventure RPG, or something, that Blizzard or Activision would be screwed, because too many people at that company have already left that have been, like, important. So, who's going to run it? The budget-crunching CEO who doesn't want to provide free pop anymore? That was one of the things. Like, there was some report, I think, a year ago about how the CEO, after, I think Morrison left, I think that was, like, the last well-liked guy, about, like, how, like, the new or Morrison, that's it. Well, after he left, like, the current CEO, like, doesn't want to provide, like, company perks. And it's like, if the company, if they paid well, that would be one thing, but they don't. So that's an issue.
Yeah, that's weird too. And it's like, I mean, Blizzard still has some of your biggest games outside of Call of Duty, so it's like, why would you not?
And I mean, you have to imagine. I mean, Call of Duty, it sells well, but it doesn't really make them money on a monthly basis, unlike WoW does.
Yeah, I mean,
So.
that's the thing. Is just it's a total mystery of like what I think you definitely just need to get some fresh blood in there for Activision as far as like get them thinking in a different way.
Yeah,
because Kozik is just again, it's working in a sense, but it's just also not.
Yeah, and like Blizzard as a company hasn't been healthy in quite a while, which, you have to wonder ultimately whose fault is that.
That could be a whole nother podcast.
Remember Diablo Immortals?
That's still going. Apparently, there was a like some kind of beta test for that or whatever, and it was apparently well received. So
yeah, or at least not offensive.
Well, that's a plus for the way it was received at first.
Yeah.
So,
But it's still not out yet, which I think is funny, because they announced it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
Yeah, oh god. That whole BlizzCon. So you're not showing Diablo 4 because you gotta show us this stupid mobile game? Ah!
Well, hey, we got another dumb mobile game to talk about, so there we go. Good segue.
That we do. Puzzle Quest 3 is gonna be free to play, according to 505 Games. The new installment, which is good because the original, has been kind of changed into other things, into other like franchises or whatever. So, it's cool that Puzzle Quest 3 is going to be made, and it's going to be out there, free to play on PC and mobile. So,
no,
or not.
That's the end of Puzzle Quest as far as I'm concerned.
What?
They're going to ruin it like they did Plants vs. Zombies.
Well, I mean, you gotta give it a shot before it's just like...
Because here's what they're gonna do. Cause I played a little Marvel Puzzle Quest. That's the free to play one. And it's like, you can play like 10 or 15 minutes and then it's like, oh, to play more you have to spend money to unlock energy. To refill your character's health. And it's like, yeah, you get occasional health items to like do that anyway, but not enough, or not just if we keep playing it over and over. So, that's exactly what free to play is. It's not free to play, it's free to demo for 10 minutes until you want to make some progress, and it's like, alright, pony up.
I mean, like, even on PC it's like that? Not just mobile?
Yeah.
That's disheartening.
I mean, it's like, I don't think they own it, but it's like, you ever played Gems of War?
Oh, yeah, I haven't played that, yes.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, like, I mean, to be fair, they haven't, like, pimped out Puzzle Quest much, because there haven't been that many Puzzle Quest games. There's only been 4. And that series has been around for a long time.
Yeah, but there's so many, like, offshoots of that, though.
Yeah, but I'm talking, like, mainline Puzzle Quests. There was Puzzle Quest 1 and 2, Marvel Puzzle Quest, and then Puzzle Quest Galactic. That's, like, the one no one talks about for good reason. But, that's been about it. And all of them are, like, all the rest of them are, just knockoffs or stuff like that. Or like Gems of War. Like, that's not technically, that is the same studio, but, that's not the Puzzle Quest name. But, yeah, it's all like based on like energy systems, or like, you run out of energy, or you run out of health. You want to spend $1 to refill your health? It's like, not really.
Not really, but sadly someone is going to.
Yeah, I'd rather pay $10 or $20 just to buy the game and not be hassled anymore.
I don't blame 505 though, because like they're not like the biggest publisher. So if you're gonna have one game that maybe you can just make some money on,
I mean, they already have Gems of War though. It's the same damn game.
Yeah, but there is something to be said for like having the brand.
Yeah,
I guess as well. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at Gems of War on Steam right now, and there's like a whole big pack of like DLC options to buy, or all this like goofy crap. you can buy an exclusive pet for $50. Ooh, I can't wait.
You should do it and then show it off.
Yeah.
Well, something we will not be seeing for a while. Uncharted movie has been delayed again. As February 1st, 2022, look, COVID is still happening and it's still hurting movie sets, and California is still, the Southern California is still being absolutely destroyed by the pandemic. So it's no surprise that we're getting more of these movie delays. They just announced December for James Bond, if maybe. So,
yeah.
Like Morbius, which at this point, you should just see if you can make a deal with Disney to put it on Disney Plus or something. Or Netflix, or I don't know. Do people really care about that movie that much that we need to keep delaying that thing?
No.
Is this?
I would. I don't like the movie, or I don't really like the character, and the movie itself is pretty meh-worthy. I would rather see Wonder Woman 84 in the theater than Morbius.
Yeah. No. Well, Wonder Woman is about 20 million times.
I get the only reason I'm ever interested in Morbius is I'm kind of curious to see Matt Smith as the bad guy. That should be pretty funny. Yeah. But a Jared Leto led movie, no, thank you.
Yeah. Not just him. I feel like, is it really going to do that great at the box office?
Yeah, it's also, Michael Morbius is a C-level Spider-Man villain at best. If you ask 100 people, who's Morbius? They'd be like, what? He's not even a vampire. He's a pseudo-vampire. It's this is the dumbest shit ever. At least Venom. Venom has, been around. Or, he is in the pop culture.
Yeah, I know. Venom has his spot. You know who Venom is.
You could pick Venom out of a lineup.
Well, definitely. He also has that, look to him, and you have his association with Spider-Man.
Michael Morbius, not so much.
Yeah. Not to mention, Morbius has connotations for, other things. So, more people... Yeah.
This all reminds me of when Sony was trying and flailing to keep making Spider-Man offshoot films. We're gonna do a Black Cat movie, or,
Well, they're still trying to do that one, the female characters of Spider-Man or whatever.
Black Cat and Silver Sable, I think, and it's what? Please stop. You're just embarrassing yourselves.
I could totally see if they put them in as we're gonna do an all-female Marvel movie.
Yeah, but they can't.
They could make a deal with Sony if they wanted to again for that. But I'm just saying, I don't think they would do it on as their own. It's not gonna work that well. I don't feel like.
Right.
Well, at least Gabe Newell wants to make some new things here. We talked about Activision kind of going backwards with their thoughts. Gabe Newell says he wants Valve to keep making more single-player games. All of a sudden.
My initial thought to this was laughter, and then I was like, if that was the case, why haven't you made any in the past decade except for 2?
Well, now that he's started making them again, apparently he has realized that it's fun to ship games, and that we have more in development that we're going to be.
What are you talking about, man? You guys made Artifact, the biggest game around.
Well, they didn't really have to ship that game because it was digital, right?
They didn't ship Half-Life Alyx either, then.
Well, but I'm just saying, at least Half-Life Alyx, they could have put it into a box and, whatever. But Artifact was just kind of a thing they threw out there.
Yeah, barely. He's basically trolling people, because it's he runs Valve, or he owns it. If he wanted to make single player games, they would. They've only made 2, and they've made games off and on for the past decade, Counter-Strike and Artifact and other crap. Let's say most of them are online folk, or Dota 2. That's the biggest one, obviously. But they got focused on just making multiplayer crap, and then aside from Half-Life Alyx, the last not even full single player, but the last like single player focused game they made was Portal 2, and that was 2011.
Yep. 10 years, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, literally almost is, because Portal 2 came out in like April 2011. So, yeah, him saying this is just like a load of crap. Well, they made like Dota Underlords, the battle chess of Dota, and that's like, wow, what a inventive idea.
Yeah. Hey, people like that thing.
So, if they want to make single player games, go for it. But they don't clearly really want to.
I don't know.
Even like Half-Life
you
Alyx,
say
like,
that, but like, I mean, he seems legitimately excited about this, and he also is saying that they have some in development that they're going to announce. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
They're gonna make a sequel to Ricochet.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it's cool that he that fire is lit under him. I mean, it's interesting to. Will it be another Portal? Are you gonna finally count to 3 on one of these games?
I think like someone asked him about Portal, and he was like very tight-lipped about it. So it's like, yeah,
maybe that's what it is then. You know?
No, if they were making a Portal, they'd say, we're making another Portal.
Would they though? Like, you imagine the surprise of holy shit, Portal 3. Like, people would go nuts.
I mean, if he just said Portal 3, people would still go nuts, so it wouldn't matter. And help build some anticipation.
True.
So there's just some surprise announcement saying, "Hey, Portal 3 is on Steam right now." I don't know. I just think Valve is like, I mean, they are barely a game company. They make more games than Epic currently, but they are pretty much on that level of we have one game we support really well, or they have a few more. We have games we support, and we occasionally might make a game. That's about it. Like,
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do.
It'd be nice. I mean, I like most of Valve's stuff. I don't really care about Half-Life, but I mean, like, Team Fortress is cool, and Portal's fine. But, I mean, they didn't even get Left 4 Dead working. Or, they didn't, people have been begging for a sequel to that for years, and it took that developer to just do it on their own.
Yeah, I just feel like you're, like, I don't know, I think we need to give them a shot, because we don't know what they could be working on.
But here's a good example. They bought Campo Santo, the Firewatch team, I think 2 years ago, or like 2 years ago. And they showed that trailer for that Into the Valley of the Gods game, like that 1930s, like, archaeology game.
Yeah.
And they canceled that.
That'd be awesome if they could bring that back.
Yeah, it's like, no, tell those guys, hey, get back to work on that thing. Or, if you need more Valve people, let's put it out. Instead, they're working on, like, they worked on Half-Life Alyx, and it's like, you mean to tell me no one else, except for, like, the Campo Santos guys could do that? Like, you guys should have been working on your own stuff and gone from there. Like, why acquire a indie developer, but a developer that has different ideas, and then, hey, go work on Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
So that's just my thought.
I agree with you on that, because I was really looking forward to that in the Valley of the Gods, and then it's going on indefinite hiatus. Ugh. Well, but maybe this makes him revive it.
Here's like the actual quote is, or not a quote, but like Jake Rodkin, one of the guys at Campo Santos, he was like the designer and writer, and this is like the Wikipedia, but it says, it was later revealed by Rodkin, that In the Valley of the Gods have put on hold as he and the other designers of the game have been busy working on other projects like Half-Life Alyx, Dota Underlords, and Steam. And it's like, okay, why hire these people to do that busy work shit? Like,
I don't think that was their intention at first, but
no, it wasn't. I mean, I'm sure when they got bought out, they're like, hey, we're going to be working at Valve, or like, but it's basically the same thing as like, Vicarious Visions. Like, hey, you made some good games. Now go do some grunt work over here.
Yeah, again, I'm just waiting to see if it is what Gabe says, or it's what you say. He's just bluffing. We'll see.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it'd be nice, but I just, their output over the past decade has been so, I mean, Dota overtook them, and that's been about it.
Yeah, and then
it's hard not to be surprised, because, like, yeah, Dota is basically a money factory, so why bother make a new fresh game when you can just crank out, another battle pass and another announcer pack?
Riot does the same thing with League of Legends, so.
Yeah, they keep saying or threatening that like League of Legends can expand that, but it's like no, they're not. Why would they?
Well, now they are expanding the world into different genres. So.
Yeah, like here's an MMO or here's our card game, or they made some
The RPG now that's coming.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, it looks decent. We'll see on that.
Remember they're gonna make that fighting game?
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
And well, Takuya Imamura has now retired from Nintendo. He's, of course, the artist behind Star Fox and F-Zero. He's retiring at 54, young age.
Yeah, Miyamoto's at least like in his upper 60s and he's still around.
But maybe he also had to work super hard and just wants to. His quote was, "This is my last day going to work. I took a selfie with the empty office. I guess I won't be coming in here anymore. I'll miss it, as you'd expect." He started working in 1989 with Link to the Past. Did some work on Majora's Mask. So, of course, he'll always have Captain Falcon and the Star Fox team.
He invented Slippy Toad. Nothing more needs to be said.
All of those characters, which
I guess he did some work on like Zelda and stuff also, which is kind of cool. I mean, he's been around. It's funny. I mean, I don't know about you. The only Star Fox game I actually like is like Star Fox 64.
I think that's the thing, though, right? Like, that is like the one Star Fox game I think a lot of people can agree on is great, and then after that, it's like, oh, maybe you like Star Fox on Super Nintendo, and some people might like those GameCube ones.
There's a belief that like, oh, the first game that you play in a franchise is like the one you like the most. I've seen that like repeated a lot. Like that's why people like Mario 64, because for a lot of people it's their first Mario game, and it's like that doesn't hold sway with me at all. Like I played the original Star Fox on a Super Nintendo, and I played Mario Kart on a Super Nintendo. I thought both those games were ass at the time, and I doubly think that now. Like,
yeah, it's I will say, like, I liked playing it in what was that? The Star, what is it? The Atlantis, or whatever the hell that thing was that came out with the Toys for Life. That I can't think of the name right now.
Oh, you mean the Ubisoft thing?
Yeah, the Ubisoft thing. That thing.
Yeah.
That was fun to like play as Cloud or Fox and like have that kind of felt like 64 again.
Starlink.
Starlink. Yep, Starlink. Yeah.
Atlas. Like that's not I mean, yeah, that's not. I wouldn't classify that as like a Star Fox game specifically, but as a game that was just fine. But I mean, like the only good Star Fox game to me has been Star Fox 64.
Yeah. And
all the rest have been either middling, like Star Fox original, or bad, like every other Star Fox game on the planet.
Yeah.
I've seen that Battle for Atlas game. I like the Dollar Tree, and it just shake my head.
Well, but honestly, like the not Switch version is like, well, what would you even play this for?
They should have. I mean, honestly, for those versions, they should have had like Halo shit for the Xbox One, and then I don't know, Resistance or something, for the PlayStation One, or did something, or like Ratchet and Clank or something.
Oh, Ratchet and Clank would have been cool. I agree with that.
But they just, they had nothing, so it's like just a bunch of like generic spaceships and a new franchise that no one cares about, or new IP. Same thing with Soul Calibur. That's why that GameCube version sold out like dramatically better than the PS2 and Xbox One, because of course it did.
I mean, yeah, I think that was the first time was it the first time you've seen Spawn in a fighting game? Or?
In a fighting game, yes. He's been in,
because now he shows up in Mortal Kombat all the time. So.
He wasn't like other. I mean, they made a Spawn video game before,
right?
Like the SNES, there was a PS1 version of dog shit at the time. But yeah, he was like the best in that. He had Keith David voice acting him, and yeah. Oh yeah, this Imamura guy also created Tingle from Zelda, which that's bad.
Well, some people really like him, so
yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's not working at Nintendo anymore. I'm sure they'll probably bring him in as a consultant for like if they ever bring Star Fox back or something like that.
Well, looking at what's coming, as I mentioned, Cyber Shadow is finally coming out next week. I am very excited. about that happening. It's been one of the games I'm really looking forward to in this early part of the year. You have the Atelier Ryza 2 Lost Legends. I know there's a lot of people that like the first Atelier Ryza, so have at it for that one. The Indigo Prophecy remaster is coming on the same day.
What's that coming? Is that PS5?
PS4, yeah.
Oh.
And Project Winter, that's an Xbox Game Pass game, is coming that day as well. And then you get the Medium also coming out, so which you can also just play on Game Pass. And then the Yakuza series is also finishing out the run. At least the first that remaster collection will now be available 3, 4, and 5 on Game Pass. So you can get ready for 6 to come soon.
We didn't talk about this one, but I guess The Crew 2, their season pass.
Yeah.
Episode 2 of that will already came out 2 days ago on Wednesday, and it's like that game came out 2 years ago. Like, who was still playing fucking
Ubisoft?
The Crew 2?
I mean, I'll tell you what, Ubisoft are the masters of. We will just keep supporting that game, man.
Yeah, but yes, but also like the games they've supported a lot, Tom Clancy, the terrorist game, or For Honor. Those games had a certain level of quality and at least player base.
Mm-hmm.
Who was playing The Crew 2? That's my question.
I agree. I want to meet the person that is really hyped for continuing to play The Crew 2, and has friends that are also hyped to play that game.
I saw the story appear a few days ago, and the headline was The Crew 2 Season 1 Episode 2 will arrive Wednesday. I'm just like, what do you mean Season 1? That game came out 2 years ago.
It's it had an Episode 1 at some point? Sorry, I'm not trying to bag on Crew 2 or whatever. Just
I played that game. I really didn't like it, so.
Fair, man. It's just funny. I don't want. It's we're not trying to do that, but still weird to me sometimes that.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make some extreme sports game. Ubisoft is, and
yes, that ride. What is it? Ride Retribution or something where it looks like you got the dirt bikes and all that other
Riders Republic. That's coming out next month.
Yeah, that.
And this looks like their Steep game.
When I saw it, I think I mentioned that when they showed it off at whatever event it was. I said this is them doing Steep, but for that. Okay.
Yeah. Here, Ubisoft is great because they will announce games and nothing new will ever be known about them again. The other 3 missing Ubisoft games, Skull and Bones, which is gone at this point to me. Beyond Good and Evil 2, they announced that 4 years ago. And the best one is Wild. They announced that one 7 years ago.
Well, to be fair, didn't they lose the...
Yeah, Michelle Ancel left last year. But it's he only left last year.
I mean, that hurts a lot. Also, when he's leaving and he's the main.
They need to hire the guy. They need to hire the Japanese guy who whipped Final Fantasy 15 into shape.
I agree with that, Tabata.
And Square rewarded him by firing him.
I'd say it's not his fault. He inherited a complete mess. And
yeah, he got dealt a raw deal on that game for sure.
Absolutely awful deal. Agree on that. So, yeah. There's a lot of the good stuff to look forward to for this week coming up. So, and we'll definitely have new games to talk about when we do the show next week. So, and until then, everyone, I hope you enjoy what you heard. If you did, you can go hit subscribe on any of the podcast networks that are out there. We're on pretty much everything. You can go check out that W10net.com, our best 25 games of 2020, if you still care about 2020 games. which I'm sure many of you do. Not everybody's playing that Hitman 3 right now. There are plenty of games to check out on there. And you can find out, well, if you heard the podcast, you already know what our number one game is. But you can go, read about it. My top 10 games of 2020 is out there. Marc wrote his, top 8 most anticipated games over at 4-on-1. You can, read those. We discuss those here on the podcast too. And, well, yeah, just keep doing your thing. Enjoy those games. They're coming. And yeah, hopefully you'll review us as well. Let us know what you think. And anything that, if you know any guests that you'd like on the show, I have a few others that I need to go actually talk to them and get them on here. Very much like, when we had Keith, who says he wants to be back on again. So,
sure.
Any guests that you folks know out there that you want Marc or I to go contact, let us know. All right, W10network@gmail.com. Hit us up, W10Sean, Humanity Play. Enjoy your week, everybody. Later.
Later.